Hi everybody, it's Natalie. Good morning, good afternoon, maybe it's good evening. I'm saying hello. We're listening to a Sixth Chakra song by Stephen Halpern. And I'm taking some deep breaths here, thinking about how to begin in AJNA. AJNA. So, I think in order to begin in a way that feels connected to my truth, which we just came out of the fifth chakra, and again, thank you for hearing my story. I listened to it again this morning before I began here, and it's a lot, and it's very connected to the sixth chakra. And so when we look at AJNA, illuminate, the element is light. And we think about how we take in light, thinking about the pineal gland connected, how we as human beings create melatonin in order to relax ourselves, releasing that feel-good hormone so that we can surrender down into our slumber to create homeostasis. I think about that journey of being here now. And when we are coming out of the throat and into the sixth chakra, I know I often say, my teacher, AJNA from Sacred Centers, to which I graduated as a chakra teacher, last year, I have this beautiful necklace. Beautiful symbol from AJNA that I love so much. And so here we are, right at the tip where that Kundalini energy comes to that connection here. And not wanting to get too deep into the nadis and the yoga teachings, I'm thinking about what is it I want to teach in the sixth chakra, the right to our vision, to right to how we perceive. And then that shadow, illusion. So in that process of that first time up through the chakras, I shared that story of my journey. So here around 16, 17, all the way up, and in the crown, this would be more in our adulthood, reaching about 21 years. So somewhere in between, not perfect, don't quote me. But you'll have a sense. Often here, what was it that was going on? And how did the body have to come in and protect you? Show up so that you could have just enough so you could survive the journey. And so for me, that illusion was pretty significant. I know I've shared a lot. And as I've told you, coming out and then up into my high school years, this is a challenging time. My mother in and out, not really being very truthful, not able to, in her journey with addiction, trauma. We didn't have all of that information that we have now that I'm going to share with you. So that was very much internalized. So I spent an awful lot of time trying to fix it. I'm a fixer. But we can't fix what is not ours, right? And so when I think about this training here, self-compassionate care, in the way that we perceive through self-love, through the pineal gland, thinking about our hormones, thinking about our systems, how do we show up in self-compassionate care and love for ourselves? What's that lens? And how do we lift the veil? And so, for me, I had shared that my study of the skin really significantly shifted my work. And I really wanted to help others in that way. For myself, around 7th, 8th grade, and I was sharing all the story of what was going on, I started getting these strange lumps behind my ears, in my ears, cracks. Oh, they would bleed. And my mom did take me to a dermatologist, and I know that she did the very best she had with what she could. And it was psoriasis. And so often psoriasis is genetic, and I was predisposed to it. My grandmother on my father's side, I found out, had psoriasis. And often if it comes before a certain age, it's usually due to a traumatic onset. So there was so much going on that I shared. I was holding so much, trying to have a lens of, it's okay, everything's okay. So my skin, my nervous system, really, that bell had been rung and holding within. Around 13, my system was like, we're gonna let loose a little bit because this is too much to hold. So therefore, psoriasis. And that's an autoimmune disorder, and we didn't know as much about it then. I know more now, and luckily our scientists know so much more. It's very interesting when I think about skin, and I think about the work that I'm teaching you here, and the work that I've learned, is that really recent, the past 10 years, 10 to 15 years, we've learned so much more about skin because we have more tools now that we can study while the skin is actively intact. Because when we cut and take skin off to then study, it dies. And so therefore, we're really not studying an active system. You know, we're not able to understand and learn. But now with this beautiful, beautiful science, I love science, we know more now. And so therefore, often, when the nervous system has just about reached its peak, something's got to give. And so I always say the last line of defense the skin usually shows. And so my work as an esthetician, I was able to see like the last line of defense kind of saying, we need help in here, they don't know, come on in, help us. So I thought it was very significant, you know, because I was able to start seeing how the body was telling a story, skin, and yet so detached from the host, the human. People would lay down and they would say such negative things about themselves, like, and very exposed. I mean, how hard to have like somebody with a diop or a very strong light and mirror coming and looking in, like, oh, so hard. Oh my gosh, I used to hide, so afraid when they would do the lice checks at the nurse's office and they would touch my hair. You know, all the girls want to touch your hair, and I was always dodging, but I was always trying to not get touched. And then when they would do those dreaded lice checks, it would be like, is this lice? What? And then I would just like hide. Because the layer of like, what's this? Call her mother's not home, where's her mother? Where's her father? Bop, 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 bop. Boom. Nervous system. Zing. What we resist persists, and therefore worse with psoriasis. But as I've shared with you with my mom and working through, I was able to start going to really get some great help. You know, I had, when we moved to Massachusetts, the Floricks, my second family, took me in. Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful family, and all my wonderful friends. And the school system that I went to, it really helped me. You know, I was like, oh, hiding in the bathroom, smoking cigarettes, like, what's going on here? I'm a New Yorker, these hicks. Meanwhile, best thing my mom could have ever done. Saved my life. Really, I knew, okay, this is now about you, Nat. And I went and I found Al-Anon. They didn't have Al-Anon, so it was more ACOA, and it was a bunch of wives there. When I came in, they were like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I have nowhere else to go. You know? My mother is an alcoholic, and she struggles with addiction. Didn't know about the drugs at that time. And I'm not trying to overexpose my mom. Up in heaven, sending her love. I know I've shared with you, when our nervous system is taking a toll and all of the natural opioids are gone, and we get a little something and a feeling of like that regulation and feeling better, our system just needs that. So I send this story and I do this work, and the 20 years of my mother in recovery, and lines of people who have told me how much she's helped them. I say this with great dignity and honor. And I say this to anybody if I can help. Reach out, find my website, call me. So when I sat there at 16, I knew, well, we got to get some more groups for kids, like for me. And so therein lied my journey. And it just kept going, and I used a lot of different ways to kind of come in and connect. So I wonder here, what's your lens? What's your mist? If we were to part the mist, what would be coming up for you? I'm going to give you some education now. It's going to be fun. Love the science. Often, a variety of you that are training, I withheld, right, until we got to 6th and 7th chakra, the right to true seeing, the right to true knowledge, so that you could feel the feelings in your body. You know, not jump usually often in trauma. We got to suck it in. So we are thinkers, brainers, right? We want to learn. No. Then often we have headaches, and we have migraines, and we're like, my head hurts. We got psoriasis. No judgment, okay? I'm just saying, I said no. I had a beautiful, beautiful student I used to work with, and he used to say that to me all the time. I said no. So that you could feel this experience and start to notice your somatic body and the energy, right? The chakras that are coming right off of the nerve ganglia that is attached to our spine. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. So welcome to 6th chakra, AJNA. And so as we move up and we can do our ground and we can move in our water, we can feel our fire, and we can hold in our heart, and we can speak in our voice. Here's the seeing. So with me right now, come on in. Notice the bells of the music. Notice the you here. Let's do our breath. 6 in. Right at the top, hold for 3. Close your eyes this time, out. All the way out for 9. Keep going. With your eyes closed, how does it feel? I'm watching over you. I mean, I know I'm here in a video, so how does it feel? Is it hard to have your eyes closed? Here I am, my eyes closed. I can feel it already. Right here. I get a little lockup. Come on, try it with me. Let's do our breath. In for 6. Hold at the top for 3. Blow out like with the bells. Let's try to keep our eyes closed. I'm having a hard time. But I can feel it. And then when I feel the tension, I just really blow it out. Here, using a little breathing together one more time. Up for 6. Hold here. And now out, softening the shoulders. And with your eyes still closed, if you were to look inside this spot, this third eye, AJNA, would there be a color there? What's there behind the third eye? Is tension there? Is it soft there? Is it hard? How does it feel to stop for this long? Come in there. Let's try to do that breathing. If you can feel kind of a sense in the top of your, I guess, eyebrow back through to right where your occipital bone, that little ridge comes up. breathe in the opposite way that you want to move it towards. I feel mine's a little in the front, so I'm gonna breathe in the front, and when I exhale, I'm gonna try to blow the exhale out, so the energy can kind of move that ball of energy right in the center, right in the me place. So we're still sitting here with our eyes closed, and I'm wondering, how is it for you? The breathing helped me. Soft here. I kind of feel a little like, oh, I can't wait to get started. I have so much juicy stuff to show all of you. And then I feel, it's when I can feel the tension come in. Slow it down. Slow it down. Let's illuminate from the inside. We're breathing in through our root. And we're breathing up through our belly, up through our fire, all the way through the front and the back of our heart. Really up, 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 pulling up through our throat, right in this bottleneck. And here, as this comes out, what do we want to keep here? Our lens. What's the illusion? Let's try to stretch open. And as we come up and then we open the crown, that information can come through with less blocks. So here today I'm going to do the 6th chakra, and then I'm going to bring us right into the 7th chakra. And I'm going to keep my eyes closed, and this is really, really fun. And I want you to know I don't feel as fearful here. And in the past, it would have been a little bit like, oh, I don't like my back to the door. Oh, I don't like my eyes closed. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh. But as I've removed and worked through those blocks, when I feel it come up, I have a new neural pathway I can move to and say, we're having fun. This is creative play. We're in the 3rd eye. Here we call this the corrugator muscle in the aesthetic world, and so we're all crunched up, kind of like cardboard. It gets a little corrugated. We want to stretch that. So now taking your hands, I know that your eyes are closed, so I'm just taking my fingers and my 2 hands, and I'm kind of pulling them over my eyes and then out to the sides. So really not touching anything, just like I'm lifting the curtains. I'm really opening the curtains. I'm saying close. I'm here, open, I'm ready. So now, let's open our eyes. Hello. Is this what you were getting? Were you getting this as I was saying this? When we come into the 7th chakra, we're gonna do all of these exercises together. It's gonna be super good fun. But here, I want us to gently just start touching your forehead. Relax it. Oh, relax, up and out, up and out. Let's stop here. Breath in, hold. Let's do a VU together. Okay, friends, I could use it. 2 more for me, would you? And on the out, let's VU it down. Come on, down on the ground. Here we are. 3rd chakra. Meant to say 6th. 6th chakra. Clarity. Illusion as that shadow. Illumination. The light. I always like to talk about The Mist of Avalon. If you ever read that book, it's a beautiful book. Love it. But only the true believers of Avalon, this beautiful magical land, could see Avalon. others who are like, that's not real, I don't, no, all curmudgeon-y. They would just float right by, never getting to that magical place. So let's just decide what you'd like to learn here, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to consider. And then maybe you can also recognize and understand parts of you that are like, no. It's just your energy pattern. And so there's no judgment here. We're just coming in and we're learning this part of you. This is your journey. This is your experience. This is your self-compassionate care. This is the gift from you to you. And maybe sometimes it's hard. Maybe it's hard to take the gift, hard to let in the love. Maybe it's hard to take the time and do the brushing. Maybe that's hard. Maybe you're like, I'll brush every day. Maybe. Maybe when we think about taking some beautiful spritz and make a nice little bottle for yourself. Maybe we take a little oil as we close this out and we think, did you make a little oil? Did you put a little essential oils in your oil? And so here, I'm just gonna sit with my legs crossed here. We think about the sixth chakra. Touch your fingertips. Touch your fingertips. Do a nice little pressure. You're really pushing down on that Play-Doh right now, that clay on the ground. Give a little wiggle. Little breath. Or yeah, come on back. Shoulders up, come on down. Come on in. Find yourself. And now, let's do a little bit of the pulling. You can walk it through like we do hot cross buns, squeezing up. Just pulling a little bit. We're just gonna do, look at little cracks going on, our fingertips. I want you to start really imagining, wow, so my fingertips and the fronts and the back of my hands are related to this area, my body. It's magical. We're magical beings. It's so super cool. And so I'm just having you do this, and I'm just having you listen, and I'm just saying that the way in which the chakras found me and I found the chakras, just gonna go back to our fingertips, was because this amazing client that I worked with, are gonna pinch in between the webs now. And I had done a lot of holistic healing and really working through Reiki, and really I could just see the way the skin was showing me so much more about what was going on. And the social worker in me, you know, I wanted to help more. And then in learning about Anadeya Judith and my beautiful friend Linda saying, you gotta read this book, and seeing the psychologies of the chakra and really understanding East meeting West, and in which way we can embody the whole process. Well, for me, pinching in between here, the nervous system, oh my gosh, that has been my life study. That has been my life study. The nervous system. And so here's this next part. And as we're here, I'm just gonna move back a little bit. I'm just gonna take my feet and this wonderful lotion. And I hope that you have a fancy little, I just lucked out and have this awesome, well, I say luck, angels. This beautiful, beautiful indigo bottle, as we're in the color indigo. Got that when I took an awesome course for aromatherapy. So we're just gonna take our feet, okay? And so just like we did with our hands, we're just gonna take a little of that lotion, just rubbing our toes, the front and the bottom, and then guess what, guys? The sides. Seems so minor. I hope you're taking a second to do this. It's really gonna get us into the learning zone. Right now we're in the sensation zone, and our body's learning, always learning. Millions of different reactions. So I'm just touching and rubbing how we did the caterpillar and the pushing, squeezing in between the webbing, coming up the sides. I hope you're doing it as you're listening. So in the study of learning and understanding the ways in which this touch therapy really helps my clients, and then coming in and reading Eastern Body, Western Mind, my gosh, it was like ding, 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 ding. Sold. That was it. That was it. And I know I've shared a lot with you, but I wanted you to understand that we're working on body-mind integration here. How fortunate to be here. How fortunate to be me. And that is not the illusion alone. There's some really hard things I've shared with you. Bits and pieces as I'm talking about coming up from this process of adolescence. It's hard. There were years I didn't know if my mom was dead or alive. I did not know that. I couldn't find her. She was so hidden and shamed. She was out of there. So, that was hard. I'm just gonna, actually, I don't know if you can see this toe too, just sitting in a nice little cross. I have a nice little pad to kind of put my pelvic bone just up and tipped a little bit, holding in my core. I'm not all hunched over even though I would be, and then I could come back. So I'm just gonna squeeze the tips of our, little pressure, the tips of our nails, of our toenails, each little piggy. Gonna do it one more time, coming in and just pushing a little bit on the webbing. I want you to think about that 16-year-old self, that 17-year-old self. I'm wiggling a little bit of the toes now, a little massage, just wiggling back and forth, like that, like back and forth. Right along the sides, just kind of getting a little of that uric acid. Lactic acid's awesome, but we put that on our skin. A little uric acid out. It's like where we get a little like the sedimentation of some built up toxins that kind of land at the bottom of our feet after standing all day. So, tips of the toes, and then always coming back at the end to that whole big toe, because the whole big toe in Reiki and reflexology, I'm just trying to see if I can show you, really symbolizes our whole body. And so you could just be like, whatever, I don't believe it. Okay, that's fine. These are all your choices. But just do it anyway, because it's super fun. And I have to tell you, I think I was so fortunate in learning all this because my clients would be like, oh my gosh, I feel that in my brain. I feel that behind my, like they would tell me and I would be like, okay, I'll just keep going. Because it's helping. It's helping others. It's super cool because it's directly connected to what I'm touching, what they're feeling, and then the chakras, right? You can even hear my voice. I get so excited. They showed up. I showed up right on time. So here we are. I'm just taking a little bit of like where the knuckle is in the toes and I'm wiggling them a little bit. Here we are. AJNA. I want to say welcome. And I want to say that if there are some veils and protections that serve you, well then you keep them. None of our bits get lost here. You keep them. And if you want some help because you don't like how some of them are, you let me know. I'll see ya in class. Namaste.